Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the official coin toss. As the team captains of the Eastern and Western Division champions make their way to midfield, please welcome the Commissioner of the Canadian Football League, Mark Cohen. Joining the Commissioner today is the Honorable Donald Ethel, Lieutenant Governor of Alberta. The Scotiabank Kid Captains for Montreal, Massimi Pizziani. For Saskatchewan, Dawson Gotsley. And today's referee, Bud Steen.
Come on in.
Montreal, you're the visitors. You have the choice at the first half. Sorry. We have a head and a tail. What is your call? Tails has been called. Sir, would you please flip the coin? It is tails. Montreal, you have won the toss. Do you wish to select this half? Montreal has chosen to receive the kickoff. Saskatchewan, which end do you wish to kick from? Montreal, please come around. Receive. Gentlemen, have a good game.
So the sequel is set before kickoff. To the sidelines, Sarah Orleski with Mark Trespin.
Coach, this week has had even more distractions than our usual Grey Cup. How did you deal with it, your team, to make sure that they're not affected by it?
Sarah, our team has been locked in and focused since we got back from our bye week, and I don't think that's changed with anything that's happened this week. I certainly hope not.
Thank you, Coach. Let's head over to Farhan Lalji and Ken Miller.
Coach, your team has finished very strong in the last two games after slow starts. How important is it that Darien and your team start faster in this game?
Well, certainly we'd like to start very fast. The thing is, it's a long football game, so we'll take the football game as it comes. We want to play with great poise, great discipline, one play at a time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Chris?
Thank you, Farhan. Well, we're out of the big chill of a week ago here in Alberta. And the weather conditions just about perfect for the 98th Grey Cup.
8th Grey Cup appearance for Anthony Calvillo. When he spoke to his teammates this week, he reminded them that these opportunities may not keep on coming. They have to take advantage of them. He's in his 8th as a starter. Darien Durant, the moment we saw him last year in his first game, you could see he was a natural leader. He's one of only 2 quarterbacks in CFL history to get his team to the Grey Cup in his first 2 years as a starter. Now can he finish?
Eddie Johnson's got it on the tee. And the 98th Grey Cup on TSN from Commonwealth in Edmonton is underway. The return man is Tim Maypray, and he's dropped. Good downfield hustle by Jarrell Freeman. Just 19 on the return as Anthony Calvillo goes to work in his 8th Grey Cup start.
He has 2 fingers in the air. He has won 2 championships with the Montreal Alouettes and been in 8. Started in the Canadian Football League in 1994 with the Las Vegas Posse. That seems like a long, long time ago. Leads this Montreal Alouette team that finished with 12 wins in the regular season.
One of the Grey Cup wins was here at Commonwealth. First throw of the game complete to Jamel Richardson. And the hit screen, extra yards and up to midfield. Big gain for the star of last week's Eastern Final.
Well, and over 100 yards in last year's Grey Cup game as well for Jamel Richardson, who was quite vocal in warm-up. Almost crossing that line into the Saskatchewan end of the field, and he gets the Montreal Alouettes off to a good start.
20 yards on the first play of the game for Richardson, who led the CFL in catches this year with 97. First down near midfield, and that pass skips short of the intended target, the fullback, Kerry Carter.
Here's the starting lineup in the 98th Grey Cup for the Montreal Alouettes on offense. Avon Coburn will be in the backfield with Anthony Calvillo, the lone back. The receiving corps, Brian Bratton and Kerry Watkins are the wideouts. Jamel Richardson, Ben Cahoon inside, and S.J. Green, the fifth receiver. Luc Brodeur-Jourdain is the center. Andrew Woodruff, Scott Flory, Jeff Parrott, and Josh Burke.
Starting lineup brought to you by Rona, proud sponsor of the CFL. Rona doing it right. 2nd and 10. Quick hitter, Calvillo. The completion, Tad Cornegay. Quick tackle, which will stop Brian Bratton about a yard short of the first down.
Early on decision time for Mark Trestman here. He's close enough that he's going to take a long look, and you get inside of that yard that they'll bring in the yardstick to take a measure, which usually gives that coach an extra second to make this decision. He's not even going to hesitate. He's putting his punt team out there.
It's like about a yard and a half, and so Damon Duval will come out and kick the ball. Punt situation for the Alouettes, as they also elect not to try a 54-yard field goal early in this game. Ryan Grice-Mullen has dropped deep, and Duval will look for the corner. Weston Dressler's back there too, and he's got it. Dressler unavailable last year for the Grey Cup game with a broken leg. Should be a key man for Darian Durant in this one, as Durant leads the Rough Riders offense out in his second Grey Cup start.
In the semifinal versus the BC Lions, the final versus the Calgary Stampeders, Darian Durant got off to slow starts, but finished strong.
And how about his success against Montreal this year in 2 games, 923 yards passing. Rough Riders start at their own 14, and they give it to Cates. And Wes Cates just back to the line of scrimmage. Shea Emery, the middle linebacker, with the tackle for Montreal.
There's Wes Cates in the backfield with Darian Durant in the starting offense for the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. In the receiving corps, the wideouts are Chris Getzlaff and Kerry Koch. Inside, it's Weston Dressler and Jason Claremont and Andy Fantus, the leading receiver in the Canadian Football League. Jeremy O'Day, the offensive center. You got Best, Dan Goodspeed, Gene Mikowski, and Joel Bell.
Diamond Ferry checks in for Montreal as Eric Wilson to the sidelines. 2nd and 10, Ferry off the edge, and Durant had to hurry the throw, and it's incomplete.
And that's why the decision to punt. That's why Mark Trestman made that decision to win that field position battle early on. He gets the 2-and-out from his defense, and now Ken Miller's squad's going to have to punt from deep in their own end and possibly even consider giving up a safety here early.
So Eddie Johnson is sent out by Ken Miller. 3rd in the league in punting this year. The bartender from Orange County, who may also have to kick deep field goals for the Rough Riders with the injury to Luka Kanji. Maypray back. And Maypray fields that kick. It'll be a no-yards penalty. 15 yards against Nick Graham after a 45-yard punt by Johnson. 15-yard, no-yards penalty against the Rough Riders. Sets it up for Montreal. First down, Saskatchewan 38. And Anthony Calvillo pulls it down, and he'll hook slide at the 30 and have 8.
Take a look at the starting defense for the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Up front, Luke Mullender, Brent Hawkins off the edge, Marcus Adams and Keith Sholigan, interior defensive linemen. The linebacking core, Barron Simpson is starting. Jarrell Freeman, a huge Western final. Tad Cornegay, the other linebacker. And in the secondary, yes, Omar Morgan will start on the corner. LaRon Mitchell, the opposite corner. James Patrick, Lance Frazier, and Chris McKenzie at halfback.
Rough Riders number 8 against the run, the number 3 ranked pass defense, and Avon Coburn on 2nd and 2. And Coburn still dancing, and finally hauled down by Luke Mullender, the man that ripped up the Argo defense for 216 yards from scrimmage last week. Has a big 15-yard run here in the opening quarter.
Kerry Carter's going to go inside, try to influence the defense a little bit and a little bit of misdirection from this offense for the Montreal Alouettes, with the fullback going one way and Avon Coburn, last year's outstanding player in the Grey Cup game, going the opposite.
85 yards rushing and a touchdown last year for Coburn in the Grey Cup against the Rough Riders. First down, Calvillo, and he's got an open man. Jamel Richardson down inside the 5-yard line, and he'll get tossed back. The former Rough Rider has his second first down catch of the game.
And it all starts a couple of decisions ago from Mark Trestman to punt the ball and not gamble. He's got that field position advantage, and in the exchange now he's on the doorstep. Jamel Richardson, who continues to victimize this secondary, Saskatchewan, gets another first down, and he led the Canadian Football League in that category in catches that moved the chains.
Ben Cahoon to the sideline. Skip Seagraves checks in as a tight end for the Alouettes on first and goal. He gives to Coburn. Avon Coburn, touchdown. Alouettes strike first.
Right to Avon Coburn. You've got to try down on the goal line to go ahead and run the football. Safest play, and he goes off the right side of that offensive line in behind Scott Flory and Jeff Parrott. Good blocking at the point of attack, and they just power their way in for the first score.
Third consecutive Grey Cup game that Avon Coburn has scored a touchdown. And Duval adds the extra point. Alouettes strike first in the 98th Grey Cup. 4 plays, 38 yards, and the Alouettes have the opening score.
Hey, what up, B? I love you.
Avon Coburn into the end zone. And Duval gets set to kick it off. Ryan Grice-Mullen and Stu Ford are deep. And it will be the Regina product, Stu Ford. With a return to the 30, a flag flies. 20 on the return. And let's see if Darian Durant's backed up for a second straight possession.
Field position advantage to the Montreal Alouettes so far in this game, and that started with the decision by Mark Trestman to punt the football.
On the return, illegal block, Saskatchewan, number 99. It will be a 10-yard penalty and becomes first down.
That's Shamari Williams.
Let's go back to that touchdown. Scott Flory, a key block, as well as Jeff Parrott, the right guard and right tackle, as Avon Coburn's going to cut down that side. And watch me show you. One will seal, and that's Flory right there. He seals the kick-out block here, and an alley opened up to the right side of the formation for Avon Coburn.
So the Rough Riders started at the 14, now the 15 on their second possession. This time Keats, a good run, and a first down for the Rough Riders. Up close to the 30 as he bulldozes for 15.
Chris Zarka's the key block on this play. He's a tight end on the backside for Wes Cates. They've got to get this run game established, the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, and they're going to get Zarka right here. He's going to come down and try and seal on Anwar Stewart. That gives Wes Cates a little bit of an alley as they all slide all over to the left side of the formation. Cates bounces it and then heads up the middle for some hard yards.
That is the #1 run defense in the CFL. 6 receivers out, and Darian Durant's pass, like it might have been tipped at the line, and falls incomplete.
Let's take a look at the Montreal Alouettes on defense. Up front, John Bowman and Anwar Stewart are the rush ends. Eric Wilson and Jermaine McElveen inside on the defensive line. Your linebacking core, Shea Emery, Chip Cox, and Ramon Guzman. And in the secondary, Etienne Boulay will play safety with Gerald Brown, Billy Parker at the halfbacks, and Mark Estelle and DeAndre Dix, the corners.
And once again in second and long, Diamond Berry checks in. Looks like he's lined up and rush in. 2nd and 10. Durant just got away, and Kerry Koch is punished. Gerald Brown with the tackle, and Koch will be short of the first down after picking up 7.
Gerald Brown had an interception in last year's Grey Cup championship. He jumps that one quickly to hold Kerry Coke and minimize the gain. A quick slant, but perfect timing from Gerald Brown of the Owls.
So Tim Mapray drops deep. Big kick return touchdown in the Eastern Final, and 2 missed field goal return touchdowns against Saskatchewan this year for number 3 of the Alouettes. Eddie Johnson, line drive kick isn't deep, trying to kick it away from Mapray, and this will bounce out at the Alouette 41. Montreal with the football and the lead when we come back. Avon Coburn the touchdown, and with more, let's join Sarah Orleski.
Avon Coburn has made no secret of the fact that he hasn't been happy with his role in the offense this season. Coming off an all-star season and a Grey Cup MVP in 2009, he felt he wasn't figuring prominently enough into it, and he was letting it affect him and those around him. So throughout the season, Mark Trestman's had to call him in and essentially tell him, hey, check the ego and the attitude at the door. And whether they use him often during this past regular season or not, he always seems to figure prominently into their playoff picture. We saw 1 touchdown tonight, and we've already seen 160 yards on the ground last week in the East Final, and a touchdown.
And there's the greatest Grey Cup connection in history. Anthony Calvillo to Ben Cahoon, but it's Avon Coburn that many will tell you is that X factor for Mark Trestman.
Yeah, and many feel that it's Avon Coburn that will be the key. When you look at his East Final numbers and his 163 yards rushing that Sarah mentioned, and the 1 touchdown, a 9.6 yard rushing average. This is Avon Coburn at his best, and it seems to be when playoff time comes around.
First down catch by Cahoon, and some time for Calvillo. And he looks over the middle, and there's Coburn again. Led the league in receptions by running backs this year with 64. There is a flag on the play.
Way to the opposite side of the field and deep into the secondary, right where Omar Morgan was working on the outside, I believe, with Kerry Watkins.
Illegal contact on a receiver before the ball was thrown. Saskatchewan, number 1. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
So Omar Morgan called on the play, and LaRon Mitchell, the other corner for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, injured and getting attention.
Let's take a look, first of all, at what Omar Morgan did on the outside. You see Kerry Watkins is the wide receiver in the short side of the field. He tries to cut across the face right there of Omar Morgan, and Morgan doesn't allow him to do that. Now, because his shoulder pads are towards the line of scrimmage, you can see some grabbing as he breaks in there. That's the illegal contact. And now let's take a look at LaRon Mitchell, the wide side corner, and how he was injured. His knee and left leg, not pretty.
So as you can see, LaRon Mitchell seriously injured on that play. We'll step out and be right back. 4th Grey Cup at this facility, and LaRon Mitchell still getting attention. Back in 2008, he suffered a broken leg and missed most of that year and the following year. And he will be carted to the Rough Rider dressing room. And Donovan Alexander will come in, and it's an interesting story because it was Donovan Alexander's job on the corner until Anthony Calvillo really went after Alexander, the starter in last year's Grey Cup game. But in that wild shootout on Canada Day, Alexander appeared to be the target for Anthony Calvillo and the Alouette offense.
He was. Kerry Watkins that game had 5 catches for 106 yards against Donovan Alexander, and really lost his starting position on that corner. They moved Tad Cornegay back there. He played a few games at the wide side corner, and over the last 5 to 6 weeks, LaRon Mitchell had won it back. Played very well in the semifinal, Mitchell did, and the West Final against Calgary and had earned that job, but he goes to the locker room now, and Donovan Alexander back on that wide side corner. So we'll take a look and see if Anthony Calvillo will go after him.
Tough break for hard luck LaRon Mitchell.
A little more difficult, Chris, when you try and isolate a wide side corner. It's a long way away from the offense and from the offensive line, but there are formations, as you can see right now, they're getting closer to the middle.
There's first and 10, and the handoff comes to the near side. Brian Bratton turns the corner, and Bratton inside the Saskatchewan 40-yard line. There's a gain of 9.
That's a play they will run a couple of times a game just to keep the defense honest when they put Brian Bratton there and they move him around the backside of the formation, just to try and make sure that the defensive line and linebackers cannot focus in too much on Avon Coburn. He gets the corner and gets around, and I was interested to see who lined up on Donovan Alexander on that first play. Even though it was a running play, they put Jamel Richardson on Alexander.
But Bratton to the sidelines. They've got a 2nd and 1. And they do stay on the ground to Avon Coburn, and he's got some running room. Tripped up by Tad Cornegay. But the Alouettes have a first down close to the Saskatchewan 30.
You mentioned the best combination in Grey Cup history, Anthony Calvillo and Ben Cahoon. Just amazing numbers when you think about his Grey Cup career. 44 catches, #1 all time. There's his yardage total, 632 yards in Grey Cup games alone. Outstanding Canadian in the 03 and 09 Grey Cup championship.
First down, Montreal back into the hands of Coburn. This time stacked up as Marcus Adams there, and Baron Simpson, the Minister of Defense, the middle linebacker, still in pursuit of his first Grey Cup.
Well, he's been to 2, and Baron Simpson is gutting it out again. He did in the Western Final. He can barely walk and has barely been able to with an ankle injury the last 3 weeks since the end of the regular season. But just go ahead and ask him, try and tell him that he can't play in this Grey Cup game. You're not getting him out of there. But you know that the Montreal Alouettes will try and attack him and see if he can hold up.
6th play of the drive, 2nd and 8, and Anthony Calvillo didn't like what he saw.
Montreal.
And the Alouettes call timeout. Great start for Mark Trestman's team last year. First half in the Grey Cup, 6 punts, 2 fumbles, and only a field goal. And as you can see, they're lethal when they do score first.
Yeah, it's tough. You can't let it get out of hand. Although, having said that, the 2 times these 2 teams faced in the regular season, Montreal Alouettes had a 24-10 lead in both of those games. Saskatchewan came back to win 1, couldn't come back, but came close in the second.
Down to the final play before losing 30-26 in Montreal. Now he's ready to go on 2nd and 8. Out of time, and the pass in the flat caught by Coburn, but again short of the first down. So the field goal unit likely to come on for Mark Trestman.
Well, and a little bit of confusion in this Saskatchewan defense. Mike McCullough is trying to organize this defensive front 7, and watch how 45 is trying to get everyone lined up. He's trying to kick out linebackers, bring it in. Tad Cornegay get organized quickly, and Anthony Calvillo takes advantage of that to the flat.
So Damon Duval, if you need to be reminded, the winning field goal last year from 33 yards out. This will be from 31. Cahoon the holder, and Duval has missed it. So a missed opportunity. Duval has struggled in his career for whatever reason here in Edmonton, and he misses that attempt from 31 yards out.
Like he just pushed that a little wide right. He didn't miss by much, but an opportunity A bit of a momentum shift here for Saskatchewan if they can get a couple of first downs together.
Let's go to the sidelines and join Farhan Lalji.
Well, guys, Darian Durant did indeed make a phone call shortly before kickoff to his father, Israel. The message has always been to relax and be yourself. Now, Durant's a superstitious guy. He didn't come out for the informal part of warm-up because he hasn't done it the last 2 games and it's worked, but this might be a bit much. His dad, who was here last year, is not here this time, apparently so he could make the phone call from North Carolina, while Darian's mom and other family members are here.
Started slow in the last 2 postseason games. He's got Weston Dressler, the guy we anticipate could have a big game here today based on his success in his last 3 against Montreal.
Well, it was good that Saskatchewan got him out on the edge, because when you think of the 2 playoff games to get here, Darian Durant has got off to a slow start in both. In his first quarter, there's his completion percentage. You can see how much lower it is than the fourth quarter production when he finishes strong.
Well, he was just a little too amped up in the first game against BC last week. Calgary gave him a different look than he was anticipating. Second and short, side out is it. And is that ball caught? It is. Great catch, Weston Dressler, to move the chains.
Well, it was a great catch, Chris, because they weren't ready to throw and catch that football at that point. Due to the pressure off the edge, it looked like Darian Durant had to rush the throw coming from his right side. Play action there, and you could see the pressure coming off the edge. Now, he had to rush that one, and Weston Dressler just reacts and moves the chains. A big first down for Saskatchewan.
Like Diamond Ferry is a key adjustment here for Montreal. We haven't seen him rush in like this against the Rough Riders. Misdirection here. Durant will take off and now throwing. Wide open downfield is Jason Clement. And the Rough Riders finally get traction on offense for the Montreal 32.
And when this Rough Rider offense does get going, it's usually because Darian Durant starts moving around. He starts running. We saw the first throw of this drive where he got the edge and threw on the run to the right side. Now he's going to buy time with his legs again on the play action, on the play all the way around to Kerry Cope. Little fake there. You see him sprint out, move to his left, get on the run. That opens up a receiver because the defenders have to react to him running.
33 for Claremont, who was the overtime hero in the Western semifinal with a touchdown against BC. Wes Gates puts his head down and barges to the 25. 6 for Wes Gates.
These 2 teams have put up some big offensive numbers when they played each other in the regular season. Double overtime game to kick things off on Canada Day in July. Doug Barry, the offensive coordinator, has got this offense rolling, and he's got it rolling, Chris, because he's moving Darian Durant around in the pocket. Full roll, letting him scramble out and extend the play.
Interesting to see if Darian Durant takes off. He said he watched film of 2008. He saw Henry Burris beat the Alouettes with his legs. Pass, block down, Andy Fantus. There's the top receiver of the Canadian Football League and the top Canadian with his first grab.
Good matchup here. Billy Parker, the halfback, is 6 foot, 200 pounds, and Andy Fantus at 6'4". Good matchup as he just bangs it hard cut from that outside. On that right leg inside, a contested catch because Billy Parker's in pretty good position.
So the Rough Riders on the march. 6th play of the drive in the final minute of this opening quarter. 1st and 10 at the 14. Durant looks for Dressler. Incomplete. Chip Cox might have got a hand on it.
Well, we're starting to see the type of game that we saw when these 2 teams met in the regular season, and take a look at some of the numbers they put on the board when they faced each other. When you look at those numbers, we're talking about 2 games. Just shy of 2,000 yards of offense in 2 games. 100 first downs and 161 points. They've been shootouts that have gone down to the wire.
The Canada Day Classic, the 3rd highest scoring game in CFL regular season history. 2nd and 10. Durant with pressure into the back of the end zone. And incomplete, flags down. Getzlaff, the intended target. A flag at the back of the end zone, and quite frankly surprised one wasn't called earlier, because it looked like Getzlaf was getting held up by the jersey.
Pass interference. Montreal, number 11, fouled in goal. Automatic first down on the 1-yard line.
Chip Cox called. Montreal led in that type of penalty this year.
Yeah, that's been an issue for the Montreal Alouettes. Penalties overall, and specifically pass interference penalties. And there was contact made by Chip Cox a couple of times. First of all, you see where he gets his right arm across the face of Chris Getzlaf as the ball arrives. He also tugged on his jersey about 4 yards earlier than that. And now they're on the goal line.
Final play, first quarter, and the Rhino team is in for Saskatchewan. Get the Kings. Airborne touchdown.
Here we go.
Minutes of football in the books, and both teams have major scores.
Wes Cates airborne over the top, gets great elevation right here. Up over the top of that front seven and crosses the plane.
The CFL touchdown leader in 2010 hits Bader. Cates was 15 rushing touchdowns, 16 overall, and Warren Keene adds the extra point. 15 minutes in the books at Commonwealth. A touchdown for Coburn, a touchdown for Cates, and the Alouettes have a 1-point lead.
Here's to the everyday things that end up being everything. Here's to all things simple, with casual clothing and footwear from Marks.
Our first quarter numbers brought to you by Tim Hortons, proud sponsor of the CFL.
Well, the type of game we thought we would see between these two teams, 7 first downs each. The one number I think people should keep their eye on is those rushing yards by the Montreal Alouettes. Early in that first quarter, they established Avon Coburn. Let's keep our eye on that one.
Looked like it was going to be a little bit lopsided for most of the quarter until that final 75-yard touchdown march, and a little momentum off that missed field goal.
Yeah, it's surprising how sometimes you can grab momentum by the mistake from the opponent, and that's what happened there. The Montreal Alouettes miss a field goal, and I wonder, Saskatchewan remembers back to last year and says, yeah, guys, let's not have that happen again. Get back out there and let's get a drive together, because that offense really wasn't going until then, and then Darian Durant drove it down the field to match the score.
Well, Damon Duval just 6 of 11 here at Commonwealth in his career. The Rough Rider TD ends a streak of 25 straight points for the Alouettes in Grey Cup competition against the Rough Riders. Here comes Mayplay on the return, and Neil Hughes with a solid hit at the 39. So 8 plays, 75 yards, and Cates with his 3rd postseason touchdown this year.
Yeah, down in the goal line for Cates' touchdown. It's about how far and how low you get. Offensive linemen drive out, good leverage, and up over the top for Wes Cates.
Back to work goes Anthony Calvillo. Bunch formation to this near side. Calvillo looked that way, and he's brought down. There's Jarrell Freeman, who has really become a force. Defensive player of the Western Final with 9 tackles and a quarterback sack.
Well, and let's not forget, for Saskatchewan, maybe the most important play is he comes off the edge. Jarrell Freeman, number 50. He's going to come around and work on Avon Coburn, a mismatch that favors Saskatchewan. And let's not forget that fumble recovery by Jarrell Freeman.
Otherwise,
it might not be here.
Loss of 5 on the first sack of the game. 2nd and 15. Three-man rush. Calvillo has it batted down. Knocked down, and that's Darrell Freeman again. What a force he has become for the Rough Riders defense.
Let's go back to that West final and show you the game that Darrell Freeman had. You mentioned it, Chris, 9 tackles. He also had a sack on Henry Burris right here. And the biggest play of the game was that fumble recovery on the special teams, bailing out Ryan Dreismuller and saving a Calgary touchdown when he recovered that fumble.
First 2 and out of the game for Montreal. And a bouncing punt that is fielded by Dressler. At the Saskatchewan 40, Rough Riders with the ball when we return. So an 8-play, 75-yard touchdown drive on their last possession, and the Rough Riders will go back to work on offense, starting at their own 42 after a 34-yard punt by Damon Duval. Bates releases, but Kerry Coke has it on the near side. And Kerry Coke still going down to the 30 and brought down at the 28. And what an addition he has been since replacing the injured Rob Bang.
Well, first of all, Kerry Coke is a guy that is not familiar to the Montreal Alouettes secondary. In the 2 games they played each other, he was not in the lineup for Saskatchewan. So that secondary unfamiliar with him, and watch the block he gets from his teammate in Weston Dressler. That's the key block on the outside on Mark Estelle. Gives him a chance. He breaks past that block and into the secondary.
40 for Coke, and Weston Dressler at 5'7", 179 with the key block to spring him. Durant, wide open man, but he overthrows Jason Claremont, who was loose on the far side of the field.
Weston Dressler, of course, who was not playing in the Grey Cup Championship or in the playoffs last year for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, loves to play against the Montreal Alouettes. In the last 3 games versus Montreal, he's had 30 catches for just over 500 yards and a couple of touchdowns. They have not figured out how to cover Weston Dressler yet, and he made a nice block there.
2 catches in the big block so far in this game. 2nd and 10 for Durant. Goes back to that far side, open again as Van Toos driven back. Let's find out forward progress. Looks like the 20-yard line. And it's going to be 3rd and 2. So Ken Miller deliberates, but now sends out Warren Keene and the field goal unit.
And Warren Keene has been a bit of an adventure. 60% of his kicks have gone through, but his longest just 25.
There are the numbers. Warren Keene, a late season addition when Luka Kanji was injured. In fact, Luka was here this week, had to go home today. He will undergo knee surgery tomorrow. Warren Keene will handle everything from 40 yards and in. Long field goals to be handled likely by Eddie Johnson. Keene for the lead, and he's got it. So the difference so far, Keene makes 1 from 27. Duval misses from 31. Ryan Getzlaff, an Olympic gold medalist, and brother Chris trying for a Grey Cup in the same year. Alouettes opt to accept the kickoff. After the field goal, it'll be Mabry from his 10. And a good Tim Mabry return across the 40 as we check back in with Farhan Lalji.
Chris, as devastating as last year's loss was to most members of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the one player who was over it immediately was linebacker Mike McCullough. That's because in February of the same year, he lost his 3.5-year-old son who'd been suffering from Duchenne muscular dystrophy due to seizures in the night. He passed away at such a young age. Now, McCullough wears a tattoo of his son, whose name was Cole, over his heart, and he told his players that if that is the worst day of your life, you've lived a pretty good life. This past summer, when Corey Banks of the BC Lions lost his young son, he reached out to Corey Banks and tried to share with him the losses that both of those men have suffered.
Darrell Freeman with the knockdown there. Mike also wanted us to extend happy birthday greetings to son Joe, who is turning 4 It just turned 4 this week, and Mike's been in the Grey Cup 3 of the last 4 years, so he keeps missing Joe's birthday.
He's got a lot of playing time throughout these playoffs with Barron Simpson on the limp and playing sparingly over the last 2 games. So Mike McCullough has seen a lot of action, and he stepped in and played very well in that linebacking core. He's a quarterback of the defense. You can see him directing traffic now.
The Jake Godard Veterans Award winner, one of the classiest men in the league, Calvillo, 2nd and 10, guns it in, and S.J. Green has his first catch, a first down for the Alouettes across midfield.
He has become S.J. highlight reel Green with some of the catches he has made, including the very first game of the regular season when these two teams met, and he caught a 2-point convert at the back of the end zone. Just spectacular, and the best catch in some time. And S.J. Green makes a key one there because the momentum was really shifting in Saskatchewan's favor.
Really carved a niche in that Alouette offense. In fact, leading the receivers with 10 touchdowns. Skip Seagrave back in, number 55, as they go double tight end. Protection breaks down, and Anthony Calvillo is sacked for the 2nd time in the game. This time it's Spruce Grove native Keith Sholigan.
You know, nothing fancy from what Keith Sholigan is going to do here. He's working on Andrew Woodruff in the middle of your screen here, and it's basically just one-on-one up against Andrew Woodruff. Good push, just continues to keep those legs churning and collapse the pocket on Anthony Calvillo.
Sholigan had a fumble recovery in last year's Cup game. Loss of 6, 2nd and 16. And now Calvillo's going to have to fight this partisan Rough Rider crowd at Commonwealth. Riders are coming. Calvillo gets it away, and it falls well short of the target as they get heat on the quarterback. Off the edge, Lance Frazier.
Saskatchewan Roughriders love to do this. They put their linebackers up in the line of scrimmage, and then it's up to the O-line, the protection for Anthony Calvillo to figure it out. There's Jarrell Freeman, Tad Cornegay, and over on this side is the guy who's going to make contact. That was James Patrick off the edge from the safety position coming around. It was Lance Frazier who's coming from the halfback. But they line them up all in the line of scrimmage, and then the offensive line has got to figure out who's coming and who's not.
So since the touchdown, a missed field goal, and now a second punt for Duval off the side of his foot. David Duval, who struggled kicking last year at McMahon in the big game. Another short kick of just 30. So it's the Rough Riders by 2. We've just passed the 6-minute mark of the second quarter. Alouettes had the early momentum, and now it has shifted behind the Western champions, who send 4 receivers wide to the right. A lot of time, and now Durant throws it away. Eric Wilson, Anwar Stewart bearing down at the end.
The leading receiver in the Canadian Football League in 2010 was Saskatchewan's Andy Fantus, all Canadian at the slot back position, and first Canadian to do it in some time. And there's the leaderboard in the receiving category. 1,380 yards for Andy Fantus, which will really inspire young Canadian football players in amateur football in this country.
First top Canadian for Saskatchewan since your old teammate Ray Elgard. 2nd and 10. And Durant can't find anybody. Takes off. And does the run over Gerald Brown. See how far he got.
Terry Coke is trying to help the officials and move them closer to that marker. Looks like he's going to be a long yard away. Darian Durant did this in the West Final against Dwight Anderson, the corner, and it's really what kick-started their offense. He did not run out of bounds. He's not running out of bounds in this game either. Gets to the outside and sideline, and he goes right after the defensive backs of Gerald Brown.
Leading rusher among all CFL quarterbacks, and last year in the Grey Cup game he ran for 57 yards and a touchdown.
51 in the final a week ago.
So Eddie Johnson forced to kick on 3rd and 2. Not deep. And Napier is 35. Will be tossed down by Kipwana Jones. 39-yard kick. And good downfield cover by the veteran, Kipwana Jones. Anthony Calvillo, the veteran, quick starter. But since then, the Rough Riders have made some defensive adjustments.
Well, the adjustment has been number 50. Jarrell Freeman has just stepped in and made some plays, and that's how those numbers have changed of late for the offense for the Montreal Alouettes. Jarrell Freeman is imposing his will on their offense.
Not a starter for the Rough Riders till late in the year when Sean Lucas was injured. Coburn on the ground. And Avon Coburn tossed forward. Jarrell Freeman another tackle as Coburn gets to the 42.
And injuries in the linebacking core that forced Jarrell Freeman into the lineup, but boy, the Saskatchewan Rough Riders happy he's there. Big Western final, and this has been the highlight so far in this game, and we're not finished a half of football yet in the Grey Cup. Jarrell Freeman is the reason that this offense has sputtered over the last couple of series.
Mike McCullough told me a couple of days ago, Freeman has been so impressive of late, they're worried now they might lose him. He might be looking to follow Cameron Wake south of the border. He has become an impact defensive player. 2nd and 3, Coburn and Freeman there. Baron Simpson there, but how about Coburn falling forward, and looks like he should have enough to move the sticks.
Well, he's going to get that on his own because he ran right into the arms of Jarrell Freeman again as he tried to cut back, and Freeman sealed that backside. Now, they didn't need a lot, and Avon Coburn fell forward. A little second effort from Avon Coburn at just 5'8", 205 against the big linebacker.
Coburn 6 carries, 39 yards so far. And enough for Montreal, first down.
One thing that the Montreal Alouettes have not been able to do because they haven't had time to do it is go ahead and try and attack the outside and Donovan Alexander and see if he can hold up. Hasn't had a lot of playing time at the wide side corner, but Anthony Calvillo just hasn't had the time in the pocket to go to his wide receiver.
Brian also reporting that Donovan Alexander has suffered a broken leg and has been taken to hospital. Coburn stacked up, and Laurent Mitchell with the broken leg, and Donovan Alexander in his place at corner.
But in order to get that passing game going and to try and push the ball a little bit deeper, Anthony Calvillo needs time in the pocket. If they want to go and try and put Kerry Watkins or Jamel Richardson out on Donovan Alexander and try and go deep on him, you need a few seconds, a few steamboats back there to make that happen. And that pocket has collapsed around him too quickly so far.
2nd and 10. And they screen to Coburn. A little bobble there may have disrupted the play as Mike McCullough and Byron Bullock bring him down short of the first down.
This time Saskatchewan shows blitz up front. They're going to bring Byron Bullock, who gets some playing time in second down situations, and Baron Simpson up to the line of scrimmage and then drop them out of there. So basically they dropped underneath and were able to rally to Avon Coburn on that screen.
So another punt situation for Montreal. With Dressler back. Duval better kick. And Dressler with a good return. Weston Dressler up across the 40-yard line. Martin Bedard takes him down. Well, we mentioned Andy Fantuz leading the league in receiving and the top Canadian, and proud of those accomplishments.
Being Canadian, I am proud. I am proud of it. I hope it inspires a lot of younger Canadians to work harder and be better at whatever they're doing. But you know, for me, I share this with my teammates. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be leading the league without my teammates.
Top Canadian in the 07 Grey Cup. Keats straight ahead, close to the 45.
You know what it does, though? There's a lot of amateur football players in this country that look up to Canadians anyway. But when they can lead the league, when they become a star, like Andy Fantus has become a star, it even makes those dreams become bigger for amateur football players. They look and they think, not only can I play professional football in my country, but maybe I can be one of the best in the Canadian Football League in my country. And that's really going to inspire some young athletes from coast to coast.
36, 2, 2, 2.
5 for Cates and 2nd and 5. Short drop and the quick hitter. Is that a catch? It looks like it is. And there's Chris Getzlaff, who was number 3 among Canadian receivers in the CFL this year.
Well, he's really coming into his own, though, Chris, when you think about that Western final and how Andy Fantus struggled a little bit. And you put in Chris Getzlaff, and he has 100 yards in the offense and 8 catches. The leading receiver for Saskatchewan who sits down.
8 and a first down, and here's Dressler on that end around, trying to get to the edge. And won't turn the corner as he's poked out by Shea Emery.
The Montreal Alouettes right now against this great receiving corps in Saskatchewan. We talked about Getzlaff. We've talked about Fantus and Dressler. Because there's so many weapons, the Montreal Alouettes, who all season long like to play man-to-man, have now started to play a lot more zone defense, giving some room for those receivers underneath and trying to protect against that deep ball, something that's not what they're used to playing and didn't play during the regular season. They like man.
Was some concern about that defense when they gave up 100 points in the last 3 games of the regular season. Bolstered now, that pass, and almost picked off. Mark Estelle jumped the route on Kerry Cope.
Did he ever? Couple of plays in a row where Darian Durant was throwing it underneath. We saw the Getzlaff catch, and if this is similar where Kerry Cope is just going to sit down, a timing route from Kerry Cope. But the Montreal Alouettes, Mark Estelle has seen enough. He sort of sits on it, knows it's going to be that hot route, that little sit-down route on the sideline, and he jumps it, almost has an interception. If he hangs on, no one's catching him.
Got that smile on his face like he just missed a big opportunity. 4 interceptions on the year for the veteran Estelle on the corner. Does force a kicking situation, and Johnson will punt it away to either Mabray or Bratton. It will be Mabray. And Tim Mabray up over the 25-yard line. Corey Hucklack downfield, an 8-yard return after a 40-yard kick. Prime Minister Stephen Harper, daughter Rachel at the game. There's Senator David Braley and Larry Smith. The outgoing president of the Alouettes.
6 and 3.
Worst start position for the Alouettes in this opening half. At their 27. And Calvillo over the middle, and big Jamel Richardson's got another catch to the 39. 3 for Richardson in this opening half, and Barron Simpson the tackle.
Usually when this Montreal offense bogs down against Saskatchewan in the 2 games this year, they've gone to Jamel Richardson to try and kickstart it. And now he just sits down in that defense. Barron Simpson rallies to him, but not till Richardson has a first down.
Richardson led the CFL in 2nd down conversion catches and was 2nd in yards after the catch. And that pass is almost intercepted. Terry Watkins, the intended target, but Omar Morgan had a better shot at the ball.
I think Kerry Watkins tried to break the route off and come inside. It looked like that was a timing throw where Anthony Calvillo is throwing it before Watkins comes out of his break on the sideline. Watkins decided to turn inside instead of out right. Here, He kind of falls inside, and Omar Morgan has the best chance at it.
Omar in his 11th year, still looking for his first cup. The only season he was not a Rough Rider was 2007 when Saskatchewan won, and he was an Edmonton Eskimo. Big pressure. Calvillo got it away. S.J. Green, another highlight reel catch. And now they're saying incomplete, and the Alouettes are going to argue. I think one official's going to overrule. And they are now going to spot it as an S.J. Green catch.
Both the head coach is going to want to take another look at that, and that looks just like his catch at the back of the end zone in that first game on Canada Day. Now, did he catch that football, or did it touch the ground?
Well, now they are waving it off, and I don't think the Alouettes are going to challenge the call. At two different angles by officials, and this angle shows you that ball did hit the turf despite the brilliant efforts of S.J. Green.
Slipped through there. He doesn't have control now, and the tip of the ball does touch the ground. That's no catch.
Boy, that was almost shades of the end zone on Canada Day. So a fourth consecutive punt for the Alouettes. Dressler on the short kick. Gets the no yards. Like Chip Cox was within that 5-yard restraining area.
Ken Miller has decided to put Weston Dressler back on punts because he has such sure hands.
Holding Saskatchewan, number 27. It's a 10-yard penalty and first down.
So Chip Cox was okay, and Nick Graham gets the call, and that'll march it back 10 yards deeper into Saskatchewan territory.
After the adventure in the special teams and the punt return team in the Western Final with Ryan Greismullen, we've seen Weston Dressler returning kicks with sure hands. Now that penalty pushes Darian Durant back a bit.
Turned into a defensive struggle here in this second quarter. Getzlaf a catch, gets away, and more flags fly.
It'll be a face mask against Chip Cox. What Montreal is doing defensively now will force Saskatchewan to be patient offensively.
Major foul, face mask. Montreal, number 11. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
He led the team in tackles. Very good year defensively. But from the left to right in your screen as he closes here, you could see the left hand of Chip Cox across the face mask of Chris Getzlaf. No question, a penalty there.
Chip Cox, one of only 3 all-CFL players on the Alouettes. Durant looking downfield, good coverage, but nearly a catch made there by Getzlaf. Billy Parker was stride for stride.
Billy Parker was patient. Darian Durant had time to throw. A nice block made by Wes Cates on the backside to give his quarterback some time, but Billy Parker patient at the other end of the route. Good year for Billy Parker in the knockdown department.
Interesting guy to watch today, though, because a lot of Rough Riders felt that he was the guy they might go after. A lot of the players watching on the outside from other teams felt that the Rough Riders might go after Billy Parker today. They swing it up to Cates. Needs to get a first down, and he's going to get it. Watermill skips into Alouette territory and out at the Montreal 48.
It starts by formation for Saskatchewan here. They put a basic bunch formation with their receivers to the right. That'll be over in this area here, just outside of your screen. And when they do that, all those receivers will come inside and they'll release Wes Cates and try and get him outside and isolated, possibly on a linebacker and Shea Emery or one of those outside corners. But he makes a nice shake and make move, little fake to the inside, and then bounces it.
This Rough Rider drive started at their own 28. They've moved it to the Montreal 48. Durant looking for Getzlaf and brought it down incomplete, out of bounds, and Again, Parker working against Chris Getzlaff.
Right now, the Montreal Alouettes on that first down situation went to a double team on Andy Fantus. They're going to try and give him a lot more attention, try and take away the leading receiver in the Canadian Football League. See Chip Cox come up on him. He gets jammed on the inside by Shea Emery. That takes the ball outside. Darian Durant tries to find Getzlaff. They're that close.
It's what Calgary did, and that's why Chris Getzlaff became the popular target for Durant in the Western Final. 2nd and 10. Short drop over the middle. The pass caught. And short of the first down, it is Chris Getzlaff. Again, the target.
They're mixing it up now. Montreal went that time again with zone. Getzlaff is going to sit in there. Now, Darian Durant has to guard against locking into him and just assuming that the double team will happen to Andy Fantus every play and just read each play independently.
Well, like Mark Trestman early in this game, Ken Miller opting not to try a long field goal. Would be 48 yards out, and again, no Luka Kanji. Eddie Johnson will try anything over 45, but they're not going to take any chances with Tim Mabray having returned 2 missed field goals against Saskatchewan for touchdowns. Johnson wants the corner, and this one is going to bounce into the end zone, so doesn't get what he was looking for. Instead, it's a single and a 3-point Saskatchewan lead.
Yeah, those are execution errors, and that's an error by Eddie Johnson. That takes the strategy and turns it around now to favor the Alouettes, because I like the decision by Ken Miller to go for the corner and play that field position battle. Remember, when Mark Trestman elected to punt on 3rd and short, after a series and a 2-and-out by Saskatchewan, they ended up scoring their first touchdown off that positive field position. A good decision made by Mark Trestman. Ken Miller tries to go with that same strategy, but he doesn't get the execution from Eddie Johnson.
So Anthony Calvillo has 1 minute to change the score in the opening half. Looked very sharp in the opening possession, but he has been stymied by the Rough Rider defense since Coburn. And he gets stacked up, and Alouettes running a lot on first down. That's out of character for them.
Yeah, it really is. They're trying to see if they can attack this defense in Saskatchewan that ranked last against the run in the regular season. But with the way that Jarrell Freeman is playing, they better figure out a way to block him. I mean, that's what they have to talk about at halftime. How do they get a big body on Jarrell Freeman and try and take him away from the play? Maybe run away from him or get an offensive lineman on him. But he's been a one-man wrecking crew.
Alouettes have 57 yards rushing in the game. 2nd and long, and that ball is going to be ruled a catch. They are ruling a catch is made by S.J. Green off the turf, and Baron Simpson wants the Saskatchewan bench to challenge the call.
Baron Simpson is trying to get Ken Miller to throw his challenge flag. Let's take a look. S.J. Green had that real close one in the last series. This one down low, and did it bounce? It looked like it may have come off his hands.
No surprise that the Alouettes going no huddle here. They want to get the first down and no challenge flag has been thrown. So quickly back to work, and right back into the hands of Green, and Lance Fraser with the quick takedown.
You know, S.J. Green, you mentioned the 10 touchdowns this year. I mean, he has got to have gone to the Ben Cahoon School of ball catching and receiving, because S.J. Green, you know how they talk about receivers and they have that window, and if you put it in that window, they'll get it. Well, he's got a big window. I mean, S.J. Green, you put it anywhere in the area code, and he's coming down with it. Really coming into his own as that 5th receiver, and it's often a player in games like this that you may not think to be the guy that steps up and becomes the big play guy for your team.
2nd and 6. Ball caught by Green, who gets away. And S.J. Green has another first down as the Alouettes try to get into scoring position. If you didn't watch the Canada Day fireworks, S.J. Green made the play of the day and maybe the year.
Double overtime. The Alouettes had to get this 2-point convert after that to keep the game alive. And S.J. Green, unreal.
Calvillo running out of time, threw it away, and flag down, and this is going to be a holding call, which will march it back 10 and out of field goal range.
When you get to about 4 steamboats, 5 steamboats, 2 things are going to happen. You're going to draw a holding call, or you're going to get your quarterback sacked.
Holding Montreal number 54. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Jeff Parrott, the big right tackle, out of
So much for throwing a turn.
He's working on Brent Hawkins. One-on-one, the right tackle gets his hands up over the shoulder pads, and it's pulling that jersey as that play extends too long.
So 4 seconds remain in the half. Rough Riders have 4 defenders very deep. They'll throw it underneath, and it's dropped. Ball dropped by Kerry Watkins on the final play a year ago. After 30 minutes, the Rough Riders led 17-3. After 30 minutes here tonight.
Montreal Alouettes have to find a way to block Jarrell Freeman defensively. Darian Durant, haven't seen him run yet that much in the first half. Wouldn't be surprised to see it in the second.
3-point Rough Rider lead as we check in with Farhan Lalji and Ken Miller.
Coach, it looked in the second quarter, or in the first quarter, that Darian Durant was starting to get things going offensively. What happened in that second quarter?
Well, you know, the game kind of changed a little bit on us. In the first quarter, we had a tough time getting them stopped. And then in the second quarter, we did make a pretty good drive and get a score. So we're going to be all right. We just need to play hard for the next 30 minutes.
Defensively, teams don't often try to blitz to pressure Anthony Calvillo because of how quickly he gets the ball out. How are you able to pressure him?
Well, with our special blitz, the Echeverry blitz scheme that we have.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, now let's check in on the other sideline where Sarah Orleski has Mark Tressman.
Coach, defense has reigned supreme in that first half. What's the biggest challenge facing your offense?
Well, the biggest thing is we got to continue to work at keeping AC clean. He's taken a few more hits than we would have liked. They're bringing the house quite a bit, and we got to get rid of the ball, and we're doing that. And then when we get the opportunity, we got to make the play.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet, Sarah.
Well, we thought there'd be plenty of fireworks. We had touchdowns from the 2 running backs, Gates and Coburn, but it's a defensive battle after 30 minutes. Rough Riders lead it 11-8. 98th Grey Cup halftime coming up next. Welcome back to Commonwealth Stadium, the 98th Grey Cup. It's 11-8 Saskatchewan as we head to the second half. Avon Coburn told you in that little video it wasn't going to be close, but it looks like it's going to be.
Very much so. The Saskatchewan Roughriders got a tremendous first half from linebacker Jarrell Freeman. 3 tackles, 1 sack, 2 knockdowns.
Now, 2 more. We got to go get that thing.
Jamel Richardson did lead the Owls in receiving yards in the first half with 44 on 3 catches. Need to try and get him open over the middle as Saskatchewan continues to blitz.
Rough Riders will get the ball first in the second half. 10 of the last 15 teams to have lost a cup and return the next year were victorious. The Rough Riders trying to continue that trend, but they've got a lot of work to do. Here's Stu Ford. And he reaches the 30. Good downfield cover. Michael Giffen, the Queen's product, downfield in a hurry. Check Darian Durant's numbers first half.
Here's what he's done. 11 of 19, 144 yards, 2 completions over 30 yards, so he did push the ball. What he hasn't done is run with it very often. Just 1 carry for 8 yards in that first half. And we talked earlier about how much more comfortable Darian Durant becomes when he starts to run around with the football, and how much more dangerous this offense looks when he does.
And as we've mentioned, much better in the second half of the previous 2 postseason games, wins over BC and Calgary. Big to Gates, he's got Van wide open. Gerald Brown will bring him down. First down up at the 46.
Sometimes it's the subtle thing from the quarterback. He's going right to Andy Fantuz, the leading receiver in the CFL, right out of the gate. As Andy Fantuz is going to read that Chip Cox is going to go out and fly out to that outside zone, so he sits down. Now with Durant coming to the outside, he turns his shoulder to Dressler and then flips it around quickly to get it to Fantuz.
right side. Cates, he's got a hole. He's into the secondary and down to the Alouette 40-yard line. Etienne Boulay, the safety, brings down Wes Cates, but it's a big pickup of 23 for Cates.
Right guard Chris Best is going to make the big block here. He's going to slide this way, and watch how he just washes all those defensive linemen for the Montreal Alouettes out of the play right here. That opens up the crease for Wes Cates, and he accelerates through the hole.
So Coburn and Cates just about even. Cates with 52 and a touchdown so far in the game. Back in his hands. And this time, not much. Off the right side, Shea Emery, the middle linebacker, with another stop.
Out of UBC, Shea Emery in the middle linebacker spot. Watch how he'll step up and play it. This is textbook middle linebacker play. That's called scraping to the hole. He fights around the block of Gene Makowski, number 6. Scrapes right in there, steps into the hole. Good tackle on Wes Cates.
Rough Rider just scattered from an I formation behind Durant. Short drop. And the ball broken up by Billy Parker on Chris Getzlaff as that matchup continues. And Parker does the job.
That's called the hot route, as Chris Getzlaff, he recognizes that the blitz is coming from the opposite side. He's got to present a target quickly. Again, the timing by Billy Parker perfect as he comes up over the top. You mentioned earlier, Chris, they might go after him. They have, but he's responded.
Now again, Ken Miller opts not to try a 45-yard field goal. He's going to give Eddie Johnson a chance to pin the Alouettes in the corner. Do you think this would be the call if Luka Kanji, the regular place kicker, was available for Saskatchewan?
No, I think they go field goal if he's here.
Looks for the corner. Looks like he's going to get it inside the 15 anyway, and they're going to mark it at the 11. Great aerial view of Commonwealth Stadium, the city of Edmonton. Congratulations to the organizers of the '98 Grey Cup in Edmonton. As you would say, it was off the hook here this week.
That it was. Congratulations, Edmonton. Good job.
Here's Anthony Calvillo with the hitch to S.J. Green. Look out! He's been a handful, gathering momentum and across the 30-yard line to get the Alouettes out of a hole.
So what do you do offensively if in the first half you can't push the ball deep because the pocket is collapsing too quickly? Well, you go right away to a quick passing game. Little hitch screens, this one to S.J. Green. Now in that first half, S.J. Green had 4 catches. 3 of them went for first down. So he is moving the chains when he gets his hands on the football.
A couple of touchdowns in the regular season against Saskatchewan. So 4 first downs for S.J. Green, and this one buys them some breathing room. Calvillo stands in, a low delivery, incomplete. Wanted Jamel Richardson.
Montreal Alouettes, when you look at their Grey Cup history of late, have not got off to good starts. 0-5, just 1 point in the first half versus the Edmonton Eskimos. Last year, just 3.
Of course, they had 17 in the final 8 minutes last year. Anthony Calvillo won here in 2002 with only 35.5% completion percentage. Flag down, and that ball away, and the fullback Kerry Carter's got it. And Carter will be brought down short of the first down. We'll check the flag. And we haven't had many to sort out so far in this game.
Well, in the first half, Montreal had 3 for 38, Saskatchewan 4 for 45 yards.
Call against Montreal.
Baron Simpson, if it is against Montreal, will decline.
Offside. Montreal, number 18. That penalty is declined. Becomes 3rd down.
So it was Jamel Richardson. It will be declined, and the punt team will come on for the Alouettes. 3rd and 2. And Weston Dressler and Grace Mullen will drop deep. And the guys talked about Damon Duval. This is 2 years in a row where it's been a bit of an adventure for the veteran Montreal kicker. And they go short on the fake, and Eric Delorier has the first down. The Montreal Alouettes convert on a 3rd down gamble and a direct snap to Eric Delorier.
Damon Duval, when he was back in that punt formation, was glancing to the right side, and Mark Trestman decides to gamble here on 3rd down and go for the fake. Surprises Saskatchewan.
Now the officials going over to conference with Mark Trestman. They're marking the ball at the 51. Don't see any flags.
A direct snap. And I didn't see a flag.
Alouettes gambled like that twice during the regular season. Were successful once. There were no 3rd down fakes of any kind for the Saskatchewan Roughriders this season.
Special teams has been an issue for Saskatchewan throughout the regular season. They've been better. And it sounds like they're going over numbers and eligible numbers possibly.
They wanted to make sure there was no personnel issue with eligible players on the field, and apparently there were no issues. We'll try and get a further clarification on that and what that discussion was all about. Turns out to be a 10-yard run for Delorier. And the Alouettes hold on to the ball, and that could be a momentum changer. Whoops! Trouble for Calvillo, and he threw that away. Well, they tried a little gadget play, but there was plenty of pressure on Anthony Calvillo, who avoids the sack.
You know how sometimes you say you can read someone's eyes? Maybe it's a quarterback. Watch Damon Duval before that fake. Look at him. I'm looking to the right. I'm looking to the right. Is it open over there? He glanced twice over there, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders didn't notice. And the call and fake executed well by the Montreal Alouettes. Now, can they convert and continue with the momentum after picking up that 1st down?
Second and 10. And a punt from Calvillo underneath. Ben Cahoon has a first down, and he'll spin down to the 42 of Saskatchewan. 2nd catch in the game for number 86.
This is the cat and mouse game that Anthony Calvillo is involved in right now, because he's got pressure, he's got unblocked players coming, but he has a soft spot behind them if he can get the ball out of there. That was coming off the edge, Lance Frazier. He pump fakes him and gets Frazier to leave his feet. That buys him a split second to get Ben Cahoon over the middle. There's a soft spot in that blitz. The question is, can Anthony Calvillo get the ball out of his hands in time?
First down, 6 receivers out. Back it goes to S.J. Green into traffic and brought down at the 38. Short gain there, and some chirping between Jamel Richardson and some of the Rough Riders.
Not enough time at this point with what Saskatchewan's doing defensively for Calvillo to go deep with the football. His longest throw so far in this game, a 20-yarder to Jamel Richardson.
Second and 7. And now Calvillo on a roll, and he's taking off with Mike McCullough in pursuit. And he skips out at about the 31-yard line and should have the first down.
You know, when Anthony Calvillo led his team to a win versus the Toronto Argonauts in the Eastern Final this year, he was interviewed by Sarah Orlesky on the sideline right after the game. was very emotional, was in tears. I know he's been to 8, but don't tell me this one doesn't mean just as much as any one of them. For Anthony Calvillo, he gets to the corner, he's got a linebacker chasing him, and picks up a key first down.
And he still takes a little exception if you don't think he has that scrambling ability. First down. And into the hands of Kerry Watkins. Pulled down by Byron Bullock.
It is amazing resume for Anthony Calvillo. All-time Grey Cup records as a starting quarterback. 8 starts. TD passes 9. Over 2,000 passing yards in Grey Cups alone. Of course, 2002, right here at Commonwealth Stadium, he was the Grey Cup MVP.
I think we may get a measurement on that last spot. Close to a first down, and the chains will come across.
Cody, that was a what down? That was the second down. That was 2.
While we have the chance, you can see it's going to be 2nd and 1. The officials conferred with Mark Trestman to make sure they had enough eligible numbers playing in the right positions during that 3rd down gamble. Went over the alignment and the numbers, and apparently everything added up. Adrian McPherson comes into the game in short yardage. 10th play of this drive on the Alouettes' first possession of the second half. Remember, they started at their own 12. And while the officials again meet, the Rough Riders decide to go to a different alignment here, and they better hustle. We're going to have more than 13 men on the field. And now both teams a little upset with the officials, and for some reason they're not ready to get this game restarted.
And now Mark Trestman wants to speak to the officials.
We have 2nd down. I think you heard the officials talk about 2nd down, but there is 3rd down on the
marker to the right side,
and on the score clock. So, and the exchange of players on the defensive, it should only be 2nd down, but again the scoreboard and one of the chains that 3rd down.
2nd down.
There we go.
The Montreal Alouettes put in their short yardage team, and they would do that whether they were going for it on 3rd or on 2nd and short. But it looked like Saskatchewan was trying to change personnel, but they have to get that sideline marker corrected before they snap the football. So they have now. It's showing 2nd down.
Ken Miller wants to change his defense again, but 4 of the defensive players who are coming out have been weaved back to the bench. We're finally ready to go. And the first will just plunge ahead. And should have it.
Mark Trestman, 3 years with the Montreal Alouettes. All 3 years have them in the Grey Cup Championship, and has won one last year. Who has said when he first arrived in Montreal that he's not in the football business, he's in the people business, and that his quarterback is the key to success. He said this week in Grey Cup preparations that Anthony Calvillo is the best quarterback that he has ever worked with in his football career. And there are some big names on that list, folks, including Steve Young of the San Francisco 49ers.
Just been a regular season record of 38 wins, 16 losses, Calvillo. And along the sidelines, got Kerry Watkins again, working against Omar Morgan, and the Alouette march continues here. Another first down.
Something that Anthony Calvillo has not seen much of is time in the pocket. And when he has time, he will dissect your defense. He allows Kerry Watkins that time to work Omar Morgan in the route running. You're going to get a nice look at it here. Omar Morgan has got to protect the inside of the field. That's the closer throw, so he plays hard inside. And Kerry Watkins works back to that sideline.
Second trip inside the 20 for Montreal. They scored on their first and goal. Calvillo pumps and is brought down. Couldn't get it away. And it's the third sack of the night for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
And this time he's working against the All-Pro and Scott Flory, 8-time All-Star, and Keith Sholigan is the guy who's going to work this time. He got his other sack from the opposite side on Andrew Woodruff. He goes against the 13-year veteran and works his way again, denting the pocket to a point where it just collapses. Anthony Calvillo can't find an open receiver, and he gets a second sack.
Sholigan with 3 sacks the entire year has a pair in the biggest game of the year. And now it's second and goal from the 15. Calvillo stands in and throws incomplete. Too low for Ben Cahoon, and the Riders get a stop.
This is what Saskatchewan defensively, Chris, is forcing Anthony Calvillo to do. He likes to play 5 receivers, but he's going to bring Coburn inside and play his fullback, Kerry Carter, inside as well. He's trying to maximum protect, bring 2 extra players in, and the Riders just go with 4-man pressure. So again, they're trying to play that cat and mouse game. When are they going to bring a lot of heat? When are they going to drop off? That time they maximum protected and didn't have to.
So now Duvall on to tie this up. And for 22 yards away, he's got the equalizer. 5:34 left, third quarter. Tied at 11. Under 5.5 minutes to go, third quarter. Long Montreal drive. And now Darian Durant back to work, and that ball through the hands of Getzlaff.
Just before the half, I mentioned Darian Durant and in the semifinal and the final, and how when he runs the football, it just seems to get this offense on track. Now they sputtered a little bit. This was the semifinal against BC. It was third quarter. Once he took off and ran there, that offense got going. Same thing second quarter in the West Final. Not only did he make a big run, but he inspired his teammates when he ran over Dwight Anderson here. He hasn't done a lot of it in this game.
Looking at second and 10. Here comes the heat. Steps up, and John Bowman and Anwar Stewart, a meeting of the Alouette defensive ends at the Rough Rider quarterback.
And if the defensive line for the Montreal Alouettes control their gaps and play like this, well, he's not going to have Darian Durant many lanes to run here, because just tremendous pressure up front as both Anwar Stewart and John Bowman line up inside. Normally defensive ends. Anwar Stewart gets there just about the same time as his teammate Bowman arrives.
Anwar, the 10-year veteran, and John Bowman, the all-CFL defensive end, chalk up the first sack of the game for the Alouettes, and 5 consecutive punts for this Rough Rider offense. Mayberry drilled at the 35, and Jarrell Freeman putting his stamp on this game. Back in Edmonton, back to the Montreal sideline. Sarah Orleski.
In both of these teams' regular season meetings, rookie returner Tim Maypray returned missed field goals for touchdowns, but he was almost on the outside looking in for these playoffs. The Alouettes brought back 2009 Special Teams Player of the Year Larry Taylor late in the season, and it looked like Maypray was going to be on the outside. But in a surprise move, the Alouettes released Taylor just before the East Final. Now, Mark Trestman had told me that it was nothing against Maypray, but when you have a chance to bring back Taylor, you want to. But Maypray impressed them a great deal with the way he handled adversity, and they know he has the potential to break it open at any time.
There's Estill Green reversing field again, and over the middle, down at the 45-yard line, has 7.
That decision illustrates why Mark Trestman is one of the best coaches in Canadian football, if not the best, because you are tempted. Larry Taylor was the Special Teams Player of the Year last year, and you're tempted to go ahead and take that big name. but he decided that Maypre was with them in camp. He went through the ups and downs. He kept him on the team because he said, I'm going with the guys that have been there the entire time.
2nd and 3. Coburn straight ahead, and he's going to be close.
And that's a huge decision, because then it becomes an entire team that comes together. How many times have you heard coaches say that it's not necessarily the biggest name players, but the players with the biggest hearts and the players that come together that make the difference in championship games? That decision was a tough one for Mark Trestman, but the right one.
May have a decision upcoming as the sticks come out. And is it going to be third? It'll be third down, about a half yard.
And Chris, Larry Taylor may go on and continue to play well in another team in either league, but a great decision by Trestman. He's got a tough decision to make here, although inside a yard, pretty much automatic when you're giving a yard off the line of scrimmage.
Adrian McPherson checks back in, as he usually does in these short yardage situations. And now the big boys will hunker down. Rookie center Luc Brodeur-Jourdain, an easy first down for Adrian McPherson.
So the quick hitch pass has been the adjustment offensively by Mark Trestman. Whether it be Jamel Richardson or S.J. Green, the quick throws to not allow Saskatchewan's defensive sets to confuse Anthony Calvillo, the veteran. Scott Milenovich, the offensive coordinator, has gone now to the quick passing game and allow his receivers to try and get some yak yards.
You know, the noise hasn't seemed to be a factor here as it was at McMahon a year ago. First and 10. And there's Watkins on the up around, and he's across midfield. About 5 for Kerry Watkins.
The Alouettes are also attacking the perimeter, whether it be with those quick hit screens, and you've seen S.J. Green and Richardson reverse their field, come all the way back to the outside as the Saskatchewan Rough Riders continue to try and just clog up the middle and send tons of pressure, putting pressure on the offensive line. They're trying to get the ball out quickly and get it outside that pressure.
Now let's hold the football in this third quarter. Previous possession was an 83-yard drive that took 6:51 off the clock, trying to keep it going here again. And it's another completion and another first down. S.J. Green's become the favorite receiver. That's 8 catches for number 19.
You know, in the 2 games against Saskatchewan, he made that big catch we showed you in the first half, but didn't have a real big game in the first one, just 5 catches. He's the outside receiver here, and what's interesting is Montreal's moving him around. They've almost made him the primary target. It's not just one player defensively he's picking on. He's going outside to that wide receiver position, also playing inside in the slot.
Joined us late, LaRon Mitchell out in the first half, broken leg. Donovan Alexander on the corner, a little pump, and Anthony Calvillo looking for Green again, and it's incomplete. James Patrick, the safety and the leading interception man in the league this year, was in the neighborhood.
Looked like S.J. Green kind of lost the football because he was surprised.
I was going to ask you if he was distracted, that maybe James Patrick was lining him up, but you're right, he just didn't seem to track the ball.
Well, he came out of that break, it was almost a double move, and he couldn't find the football in time. Ball was put where it had to be put.
Scott Flory thought he should have caught it. 2nd and 10.
Here they come.
Yes, they are. Calvillo gets it away and out of the reach of Jamel Richardson, looking for flags, but none on the field.
The right call made by the Alouettes against this defense. The Riders line them all up on the line of scrimmage, and they're blitzing. No one in the middle because one of the blitzers is James Patrick. Now, Jamel Richardson wanted the pass interference or at least illegal contact if the ball wasn't in the air. But there, as you can see, that front line for Saskatchewan, they're up there and they're coming. One is James Patrick up in there in the line. No safety. The right call made, but Anthony Calvillo couldn't get it there.
Again, neither coach wanting to try a long field goal. Duval will look for the corner again, and that one angling out, and let's see where they mark that. Somewhere around the 15, and right about there is where the Rough Riders will take over. Congratulations yesterday, the Desjardins Vanier Cup winners, the Laval Rouge Or, and also we want to tip our hat to the Wally Bono Award winner, the top junior player Canadian football this year, Cleveland Jean-Louis of Chateauguay. So we're into the final minute, third quarter. Rough Riders with the football, and the pitch goes to Kerry Coates. Got a big 40-yarder early in the game. Not much there as Mark Castell steps up and limits Coates. Gain to about 6.
What's remarkable about Darian Durant is that this is just his second year as a starter. He has led his football team to the championship game in his first 2 years as a full-time starter, 24-15-1, and he is completely composed in a tie game heading into the fourth quarter.
Rough Riders looking at only their 8th play of the third quarter. Montreal's at 21, and that pass intended for Fantuz, but he really got caught up in traffic. And it's a 2-and-out. Ramon Guzman was right there with Fantuz.
That's good underneath linebacker help by Ramon Guzman, because Fantuz gets that inside position on Billy Parker, but Guzman is standing right there. He has to run through him, and that's a good no call by the official.
So back-to-back 2-and-outs for the Rough Riders. The offense stalling here in the third quarter. And Montreal anticipating good field position. Johnson's kick arrives at the 43. And here's Maypray on the return, and big hit by Neil Hughes, who's had a couple special teams tackles in the game, but this one at midfield gives Montreal great field position.
Well, he had 4 special teams tackles in the final versus the Calgary Stampeders. Regina product covering down on those teams a chance to play in the Grey Cup Championship, and he's contributing on the team. That's a big hit.
Here's a Regina Ram product out of Tom Collegiate in Regina. Final play, barring a penalty here in the third quarter with Bratton in motion. And dump pass. Ryan Bratton the catch, and he'll be held to a pickup of about 5 by Hawkins and Frazier. We're through 45 minutes here in the 98th Grey Cup game. It's a defensive struggle, and we're tied, headed to the fourth.
Here's to the everyday things that end up being everything. Here's to all things simple, with casual clothing and footwear from Marks.
Third quarter stats are brought to you by Tim Hortons, proud sponsor of the CFL.
Little adjustment at halftime by Mark Trustman. The Montreal Alouettes had over 8 minutes difference in time of possession now after 3 quarters. And look at the rushing yards for Saskatchewan. They're going to have to add to that, and not with Wes Cates. I really believe they're going to add to it. They've got to get Darian Durant running the football.
Alouettes won the first and third quarters. The Rough Riders win the second quarter. Matt Dunnigan said before the game it would be a defensive battle. I'm not sure we thought it would be, but Matt Dunnigan's on the mark.
Well, when these two teams faced each other in the regular season, they put up over 2,000 or just shy of 2,000 yards in 2 games offensively. So no, not many thought it would be a defensive struggle. However, I think everyone believed it'd be a close game and go down to the wire.
We start the fourth quarter with the Alouettes looking at 2nd and 4. Calvillo quick hitter, and he's got a connection and a first down. Jamel Richardson the catch, and a first down at the Rough Rider 40.
Well, you can't cover it much better as Jamel Richardson is the wide receiver on this play. Into the short side and into the boundary. He's going to work on Omar Morgan, who's been trying to take away that inside position. And even when he jumped it well, Jamel Richardson with his big body keeps Omar Morgan away from the football. His fourth.
97 in the regular season, sat out the final game where he might have eclipsed Andy Van Toos's totals. There's a pass out of the reach of Richardson, incomplete.
It's the first time in 38 years Grey Cup history that we've had a tie game after 3 quarters of play. The last was back in 1972, Hamilton, Saskatchewan at 10-all.
And Rough Rider fans don't want to be reminded.
No, they don't.
That Ian Center and Ivor Wynn kicked the winning points. The partisan crowd trying to affect the play as Calvillo goes to work on 2nd and 10. And he's got Coleman out of the backfield, but Mike McCullough stayed with him and drops him short.
Tremendous play by Mike McCullough, who's been so reliable, so strong, so consistent. Asked to step in for Barron Simpson. Situational player. Well, Barron Simpson was healthy, but since he's been hurt, boy, he has stepped up to the plate.
So now Duval will attempt from 42 yards out. He has not hit a field goal over 40 yards since August the 6th against Saskatchewan. Alouettes look for the lead, and Damon Duval's got it. No question about that. Duval gives Montreal a 3-point lead. Back in Edmonton, early fourth quarter, Saskatchewan opts to take the football at their 35-yard line. Back-to-back 2-and-outs for Darian Durant. It was only 2 for 5 for 21 yards in the second half. Gives it to Cates, left side, and Cates has something. Up to midfield and into Montreal territory. Wes Cates has given the Rough Riders some positive rushing yards in this game.
Anwar Stewart, the veteran in his 7th Grey Cup, is going to line up inside, and he's going to just get inside that tight end. I believe it's Chris Zarka, and when he tries to battle back to get back out to contain, he's chipped there and then handled by Joe Bell. That allows Wes Cates to bounce, and now he's in the secondary.
21 for Cates, 80 in the game. He's not had a 100-yard rushing game since the 3rd week of the season. They'll give it to him again, and this time it's shut down immediately. Diamond Ferry was there, and a little support from Ramon Guzman.
Diamond Ferry getting a chance to play, was very vocal before the Eastern final against Toronto Argonauts. Apologized to his head coach for stirring things up in the media. Was very quiet, and that's a big play on first down. Very quiet going into this Grey Cup, I should say.
Not all the Alouettes were.
No.
2nd and 9. Durant over the middle, and that was nearly intercepted. In and out of the hands of Guzman, who had 1 in the regular season, and he returned it for a touchdown against Calgary.
Oh, Ramon Guzman disguises this very nicely. He's up in the line of scrimmage now. That would indicate that he's going to blitz, but watch him drop out of there and be right in the throwing lane. Darian Durant does not recognize him. He takes that half step, and he goes right through his hands. Missed opportunity, Chris, that'll cost the Alouettes some field position here.
7th consecutive Rider possession that ends with a punt. By the way, they have not faked on third down all season long, and Johnson kicks this away. Maybray are on the 15, and a flag flies. Corey Hucklack was downfield. We'll sort out the flag when we come back. Anticipation building. Let's check in on the sidelines. First, Sarah Orleski.
Well, you've certainly seen more energy around these Alouettes in the last few series. They've been walking around with the number 4. I asked one of them what that meant, and they said it's just a reminder, it's the fourth quarter, that this is it, and that's been their playoff mantra all season long. With more, let's go to Farhan.
Well, as far as the Riders are concerned, a little bit of frustration and tension on their sideline, particularly offensively. After that last throw, Andy Fentus didn't look too thrilled with Darian Durant and went over to him, gestured to him that he's got to make a few better reads and adjust a little differently on a few offensive plays. The Riders haven't had a lot of success offensively in this half. Chris?
Just 4 first downs, Farhan, for Saskatchewan, 8 for the Alouettes, who will start at their 29 after a no-yards penalty against Nick Graham, who's now on the corner in place of Donovan Alexander. And Avon Coburn across the 35-yard line.
Last year when the Alouettes won the championship, Mark Trestman's mantra that year was everything matters. This year, as Sarah mentions, it's this is it, meaning that the moment that you're in is all that matters. Don't let your mind wander. Continue to keep focused. He said they learned that lesson on Canada Day against the Saskatchewan Roughriders because they didn't close it out. They didn't finish. The question is, can they close it out here?
He doesn't like to say repeat, but no CFL team has won back-to-back Grey Cup titles since the Doug Flutie-led Argonauts in 96 and 97 here at Commonwealth.
You certainly have the guy pulling the trigger to pull it off.
2nd and 4. Short drop. Calvillo looks for Richardson, and he's got it. Drilled out of bounds at the Alouette bench. And a big first down for Montreal.
And it's getting to that time of the game. The Grey Cup trophy entered Commonwealth Stadium. And the veteran, who's been to 8 Grey Cup championships, his 8th start, threads the needle and puts it on the money to Jamel Richardson on the sideline.
Well, I know Jock Climbey thought Richardson would be a key guy in the game, and he is becoming more important as it wears on. 18 for number 18 and a first down. Calvillo over the middle, and he has a completion into Rough Rider territory for Ben Cahoon. Anthony Calvillo said yesterday, I'd be surprised if Cahoon retires. I mentioned that to Cahoon, and he said, I'll be surprised too. It almost sounded like he's trying to play down all the retirement talk that everybody anticipates after a brilliant 13-year career for Ben Cahoon.
You almost think that if they're going to retire, they should do it together. And I think Anthony Calvillo is back for sure.
Another second down play, 2nd and 5. Lacey over the middle, and is that intercepted? There is a flag. Byron Bullock's got the football, but did he interfere with Ben Cahoon?
And that's what Cahoon looked to like. He got up immediately in motion like it was going to be contact by Byron Bullock on Ben Cahoon.
Would be the first turnover of the game, but let's find out if it stands. It's going against the Rough Riders.
And that's exactly what the call will be. It'll be against Byron Bullock. And he was working one-on-one on Ben Cahoon.
Pass interference, Saskatchewan. It's a 10-yard penalty, an automatic first down.
The veteran, Ben Cahoon, watched the route running as he stems him to the outside, plants his right foot right there, cuts back inside, and the arm around the stomach of Ben Cahoon draws the penalty.
Good call. So no turnovers yet in the game. And a first down. Back into the hands of Coburn. A little stutter step, but nothing doing as he's stopped up right at the 40.
Smart call by Montreal to go ahead and continue to involve Avon Coburn to run the ball. Number one, it works the clock. Scott Milenovich can continue to use up the clock on this drive.
There you see Coburn's numbers, 52 yards in the game, Beats with 81 for the Rough Riders. Both
Timeout, Montreal.
Well, with 8:41 to go, the Alouettes use their timeout, and sometimes that can come back to bite you.
Well, in a close game, certainly you want to hold on to it as long as you can, but I wonder again if the crowd noise here was starting to affect Anthony Calvillo. He broke the huddle, didn't like what he saw defensively, and tried to organize his team quickly, but couldn't do it, so they called the timeout.
Remember, the Calgary Stampeders used their timeout early last week and couldn't stop the clock late. It gets amped up here. 2nd and 7. AC with a pump, and he's looking deep. He's got a man. Omar Morgan can't bring it down. Jamal Richardson's got it at the 2. Thought Morgan had a shot at it, but once again, Jamal Richardson makes the play.
Ball is thrown underneath Jamal Richardson. This is an underthrow by Anthony Calvillo. Jamal Richardson's working one-on-one, and he just wins the battle at the top end of the route. He is wide open in behind, but that ball underthrown, he has to come back. He wins the jump right at the goal line over the top of Omar Morgan.
Richardson wanted a face mask, and you could see Morgan did get the mask on the way down. Jamal Richardson over 100 yards, and now the Alouettes look for the touchdown. Coburn! He's got it! Avon Coburn has his 2nd touchdown, and the Alouettes expand their lead.
Pass interference called by Byron Bullock on Ben Cahoon, and then a tremendous catch by Jamal Richardson, and it's capped off by Avon Coburn. Star players coming up big in the most important moments of football games, but there's lots of time left.
An 81-yard touchdown drive for the Owls. And Coburn with the touchdown on the 7th play as Duval steps into the extra point. And it's the Alouettes with the biggest lead of the day. They're up by 10. Well, a year ago, they had to stage a dramatic 4th quarter comeback. This time they build a 4th quarter lead of 10 with 7:24 to go. Montreal on top. Duval with a line drive that's going to bounce out and give the Rough Riders good field position at the 45 on the illegal kickoff.
Yeah, big mistake by Damon Duval, because that's real good field position.
Kickoff out of bounds. Montreal number 15 becomes 1st down, Saskatchewan.
Big drive by that Montreal offense, over 80 yards. It's started with a big play on the sideline. Jamal Richardson keeping his feet in bounds, and it gets him down to the goal line. This is one of those Grey Cup MVP type catches if the Montreal Alouettes can hold on to this lead.
Darren Durant's got to get it going. Looked like his receivers were offside as they flared out to West Gates. He'll be stopped at the 48. Jay Emery there on the tackle. 3. But again, penalty flag on the play, and there's an injured Alouette as well. It's like John Bowman, the all-star defensive end, is getting attention.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 89. It's a 5-yard penalty. We will repeat 1st down.
Alouettes take the penalty and push them back 5. That'll be 1st and 15.
John Bowman got caught into the mix there at the defensive line and coming off the right edge here, and I believe it was his own player that rolled into him. He's working on Dan Goodspeed, makes an inside move. You can see the collision. Looked like Eric Wilson fell down on the back of his legs. Takes John Bowman out of the game for at least 3 plays, maybe more. He's not putting much weight on that left leg, and Bowman, of course, 12 sacks to lead his team in the regular season.
Sheila Ahakova comes into the game to replace him as they look at 1st and 15. A similar swing pass to Cates. And he gets back to the original line of scrimmage at around the 45. Just the 3rd completion of the second half for Darian Durant.
Yeah, this offense has slowed down considerably in the first half. However, it was Damon Duval who missed a field goal that gave a little bit of the momentum back to Saskatchewan. They took that and drove the field. Now that kick out of bounds, if they can convert here, may give them that momentum back again.
Haven't called Weston Dressler's name in a long time. 2nd and just inside 10. And the pass for Coke. Aaron Coke is going to be short of the 1st down. And Ken Miller's going to have a decision as they spot the ball around the 51.
Yeah, I know it'll be tempting. I know it'll be tempting for Ken Miller, but I think this is about 3 yards.
Yeah. So stay with the program with 6:10 to go and just punt the ball away?
Yeah, without question. I mean, there's so much football to be played at 6:10. You're looking at a huge gamble if you don't get it, and the momentum Montreal would grab.
Mark Trestman a year ago went 3rd and 3.5, but there was about 2.5 minutes to go. Still a lot more time. And they get a good kick from Eddie Johnson at the 11 from Maypray. And Maypray up to the 20 before he is dropped, and there's a flag on the field. 8th consecutive punt for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, spinning their tires here in the second half.
On the run back, holding. Montreal number 69. The 10-yard penalty becomes 1st down.
Jamel Richardson has been money in the biggest games. You take a look at the last 3 Grey Cup games he's played in. He's had 100 yards plus. 2008, 123. 2009 last year, 113 and a touchdown. He's at 107 and counting. Jamel Richardson, big-time money receiver when it matters most.
Costly penalty to Eric Wilson backs the Alouettes up. So, although the Rough Riders are on defense, this is an area where they could help turn the game. But Coburn has other ideas. Baron Simpson with the stop after about 3, and this will set up a big play for the Alouettes in the Saskatchewan Roughrider defense.
Yeah, it's coming up. I just want to show you one block here. Jamel Richardson right here. He's not just catching passes, folks. He's contributing in other ways. He comes over and cut blocks the most dangerous defensive player for Saskatchewan in the first half, Jarrell Freeman.
3 100-yard great performances by Richardson. And Avon Coburn has scored touchdowns in the last 3 Grey Cups, 5 in all, so they're using the same recipe. Here we go, 2nd and 8. And they're going to be short. Jarrell Freeman, the tackle, as Richardson is dropped short of the 1st down, and that's what the Rough Riders needed with just under 5 minutes left.
Now the ball at around the 13-yard line, 12-yard line, it will be coming out, meaning Damon Duval will be standing about 3 yards in his own end zone.
Well, Coach, you don't like safeties. Is this an area where it should be considered? Or would that make it an 8-point game and something you don't want to do?
Yeah, it makes it a 1-possession game. If you do it, they'll kick it away.
They will. Short kick. The good field position as Dreffler fields it. And it'll be no yards. Look at the field position. Roughriders will take that return. They've got it already in field goal range as Duvall's kick is only 24 yards.
The end of last year's Grey Cup championship, Ken Miller said that the loss and the way the Riders lost that game would be with them for as long as they were on the planet. Now they've said they've moved on, that revenge is not a great motivator, and that they had to seize the moment.
Yards. Montreal, number 41. It's a 5-yard penalty. Becomes first down.
That's been the message from Ken Miller to his football team. They were trying to hold the lead and let it go last year. Now they got to come from behind. But if they're going to, this is the series that they've got to convert on. A bad punt out of the end zone by Damon Duvall. Tremendous field position. It's right now for Saskatchewan.
Best field position start of the day for the Roughriders. Need 2 scores. Durant looking for Fantu's got him. Inside the 10 and runs into the 1. DeAndre Dick saves a touchdown, but the Riders are first and goal.
Chris, it's what Andy Fantus does at the end of the route. At the top of the corner here, he's going one-on-one on Chip Cox. Good route to get to that outside. Watch him take a step back to the football and separate himself from the defender. And then it's all just second effort to pick up extra yards after the fact. But that little step back towards the line of scrimmage gained the separation necessary.
31 on the play, and it's now first and goal with Sarka and Cates in behind Darian Durant. Fake to Cates, he's going to throw wide open. Touchdown, Mark Parento! Well, the reserve right guard, who's a bit of a character, has something to talk about for a long time. Caught one pass earlier this year, but this time it's in the end zone in the Grey Cup game, his first ever CFL touchdown.
Mark Parento is going to line up as the tight end on the play. Push the flat, uncovered.
And now keen to get them within a field goal with 3:15 on the clock. It's a 3-point game.
They're going to have Chris Sarka come out of the backfield here, and Mark Parento, he comes up, runs that little curl, and now he's just got to catch the football. But how big is this? No one around him. I can't wait to ask him what was going through his mind as that ball was flying through the air.
Well, he had a celebration plan, didn't he?
Completely uncovered. It looked like Shea Emery ran right past him to get to Chris Sarka.
You a little surprised, though? I mean, John Bowman gets a hit on Durant. First and goal from the 1. They make it work, but I'm not sure that's the most conventional call. And we revert back to the dilemma Mark Trestman had. Do you concede the safety? He didn't. Saskatchewan got instant field position and ended up with 7.
You concede the safety, you make it a 1-possession game. It's now an 8-point game. A touchdown and a 2-point convert ties it. However, you get the field position advantage.
Made play on the return. And across the 35 before he gets stacked up and finally goes down. Corey Hucklack. The last 3 meetings between these two teams have gone down to the final play. And this one may be headed that way as well.
Well, both the July 1st game and the August 6th game, the Montreal Alouettes had a 24-10 lead at halftime in both those games. Saskatchewan came back to win once and just about win the second. A knockdown in the end zone in the final play in August. Now it's Montreal trying to hold on to a lead in Saskatchewan, trying to come back.
Excuse me, Such. Now it's starting to sound like Mosaic. Calvillo steps and he's finally bumped out at the Rough Rider 36. The fullback with a huge play, 34 yards for the Owls.
Mark Trestman trying to become the first coach since back with the Argos in 96-97 to win back-to-back championships. Ken Miller trying to make a lot of bad memories go away from 2009.
And another frantic fourth quarter. Big play for Kerry Carter. And a huge response by the Alouettes after that touchdown by the Rough Riders. Sherbrooke native Mark Parenteau has made it a three-point game, but Anthony Calvillo trying to change that. Gives it to Coburn, and flags fly as Shamari Williams, the #1 pick in the 2010 draft, made the tackle, and the flag is going against Montreal.
It looked like Tad Cornegay was blocked from behind. I didn't get the number, but I think it was a receiver from the outside in coming in on the linebacker. And it's going to push Montreal back.
Holding. Montreal number 54. The 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's Jeff Parrott.
Well, I want to show you Jeff Parrott on this play, and I'll also circle Tad Cornegay for you. There's Parrott there. There's Cornegay. Now watch both of them. You're going to see Cornegay take a clip from behind as this continues out. Jeff Parrott gets his hands up in the face, too, of Luke Mullinger.
First and 20 as they are pushed back, and now Calvillo rolling, and he's got a wide open receiver, and S.J. Green's got another catch. Brought down by Nick Graham, who's now on the corner.
Love the call for the Alouettes for Anthony Calvillo here to go in the pocket and then sprint out. It's a 1,000 count, then he bounces it and he catches James Patrick blitzing inside, gets outside to buy himself some time so that S.J. Green can work his man in Lance Frazier, sit down when he sees zone, and that gives them a chance on second down.
Like Richardson, Scott Milanovich has seen S.J. Green over 100 yards. Second and 6. Richardson stopped up and game tackled behind the line of scrimmage, and that's a big defensive stop by the Rough Riders. And well, they send David Duval on now to attempt a 40-plus field goal.
Or does Duval come on and punt for the corner and make it a long field? That's what both these coaches have done early on in this game.
It's an interesting decision. It's a 40-yard field goal, and it appears that's what they'll settle on to make it a 6-point lead.
At 40, you have to expect your field goal kicker to be able to make it from this distance, no question.
And he has one over 40 in the game.
Timeout, Saskatchewan.
Ken Miller will call his timeout here.
Surprised he did that, considering that some time had already ticked off the clock.
I am a little as well, Chris, because either way, whether or not this is made or not, he's got to get that drive. He's got to drive the field, and he may need that timeout to try and stop the clock, depending on whether he's fighting for a field goal or a major. Now, he does ice Damon Duval, or at least try to, with the timeout.
And there's still going to be time for the Rough Riders.
Yes, there will.
Duval trying to double the Alouette lead. And he has missed his second. And Dressler's going to bring it out. Weston Dressler up across the 15, so the Rough Riders still only need 3 to tie. Time to check our Grey Cup game story, brought to you by Mr. Lube.
Avon Cobarn, 56 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Jamel Richardson, a big game for him. We have seen a lot of S.J. Green as well. How about the first half from Jarrell Freeman, Saskatchewan Rough Rider linebacker. Mark Parenteau with a touchdown to make it a 3-point game.
We played over 58 minutes, and now it's in the hands of the Rough Riders. And it's dumped off. Claremont in the flat. And he's brought down around the 23-yard line.
By the way, Weston Dressler really had to get that football out of the end zone on the missed field goal by Damon Duval. Even though it puts them in difficult field position, you want to stay within 3 with this much time on the clock if you're Saskatchewan, so you're just looking to try and get to around the 35-40-yard line.
Second and 2, and West Cake's got the first down straight ahead to the 30.
It'll be interesting to see how Saskatchewan works the clock here because of their kicking situation, with Warren Keane being responsible for the shorter kicks and Andy Johnson if they need a longer one. Ken Miller has said that they'll go back. If it's over 40, they're going to have to go with Eddie Johnson. If it's inside of that, Warren Keane will be the guy. But you mentioned it's been a little erratic in the playoffs.
Darren Durant would like to keep it off the kicker's leg if he can. Clouds are everywhere as Durant takes off and is brought down by Shea Emery. Would have a first down. Let's find out what the markers are all about.
And John Bowman, who's returned to this game, has indicated that this is coming back and it'll be against Saskatchewan. And if you're wondering what happened when the flag is thrown around the line of scrimmage,
offside. Saskatchewan, number 83. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Look at the defensive linemen and they will tell you. Andy Fantus gets a bit of a jump in his motion.
A couple times in the game the receivers have been offside. And so it'll be a 1st and 15. Negating a first down run by Durant. We have not seen him run as much as we anticipated in this game. Sets up and he's going to be dropped. Darren Durant trying to muscle his way and he got away. And throws it up for grabs. Shouldn't have. Alouettes have got it. An interception. DeAndre Dix comes up with the football as Darren Durant wrestled his way out of the grasp of a defender and then gave it away.
Darren Durant, Chris, was trying to get this football out of bounds. He was trying to throw it away and he just couldn't get enough on it. A tremendous effort to try and escape, and he does, because it looked like he was sacked for a big loss right here. But somehow he fought his way out of that. It was Diamond Ferry who had him all wrapped up. But you could see as he tried to turn, he just couldn't get his body to step into the throw and get it out of bounds. He wasn't trying to hit a receiver here. He was trying to just save the loss, get it out of bounds, didn't get it far enough.
Wishes to take a look at that last play.
Now, did Billy Parker come up with this catch?
It is Billy Parker who made the catch on the sidelines. And now Jason Claremont trying to help the call as he immediately started waving incomplete, but they're going to take a long look at it. It's game over if the Billy Parker interception stands. Had an interception last year in the fourth quarter, Parker against Durant, that helped turn the tide of that game.
Now let's see if Billy Parker had possession here, because he went up for this to catch it at its high point, but did he have possession as he was coming down? I thought I saw the football possibly touch the turf here as it slipped underneath his arm, or did it stay on that right arm as he came down?
Ruling on the field stands. Montreal, first down.
His arm was underneath, so the interception stands.
And the first turnover of the game comes in the final minute, and will be another heartbreaking play for the Rough Riders.
And he is clearly inbounds.
So Calvillo hands it off, and Coburn off the right side again. The Rough Riders can't stop the clock.
First turnover of the game for Darren Durant. Billy Parker comes up with a key play. The Montreal Alouettes, Chris, all week have felt slighted. They felt like they weren't getting the respect. People talked all year long about the Saskatchewan Roughriders losing the 2009 Grey Cup and not the Montreal Alouettes earning the win. They felt like that was disrespect. Poised to take back-to-back titles.
2nd and 6. And Coburn reverses field, and Baron Simpson brings him down.
And if that's first down territory, that should do it.
Looks like it should be enough. Either way, they can roll it down to about 5-6 seconds to go. And the Alouettes have a stranglehold on this and back-to-back titles.
And one thing that has haunted Anthony Calvillo throughout his career, people talk about his accomplishments and how this is his 8th start in the Grey Cup. This will be a 3rd down and inches.
Well, they're in the house of the dynasty, the ultimate CFL dynasty, 5 in a row, the Edmonton Eskimos. But Mark Trestman and this Montreal Alouette team continues the excellence now throughout since 2000. And we can now talk about this team being a dynasty after back-to-back wins over the Roughriders in 2009 and 2010, pending the absolute unforeseen, and we have seen that before.
You can see it in the eyes of Anthony Calvillo, the anticipation.
Adrian McPherson running down the clock and plunging for the first down. And we'll be time for one more play. Here comes the victory shower from Mark Trestman. Shea Emery does the honors. And the celebration is on. Still have to snap the football one more time.
Chris, they have really been the team of this decade.
There's Jim Pop, the architect of this team.
8 appearances in the past 11 seasons.
Final snap, encore, Alouettes. Back-to-back Grey Cup titles, the first since the Argos in 96 and 97. And back-to-back in Alberta. They won in McMahon, they win at Commonwealth, and they do it 2 years in a row against Ken Miller and the hard luck Saskatchewan Roughriders.
And the reality of last year will now start to really sink in for these Saskatchewan Roughriders, and just the reality of just how difficult it is to win a championship.
Let's head to the field and join Farhan Lalji, who's standing by with the winning quarterback, Anthony Calvillo.
Happy birthday, Papa.
Anthony, a while ago you got criticized for not having won enough of these. Now you've got 3, including back-to-backs. How does this one feel?
You know, I want to give all praise and glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. What a feeling. You know what? We work so hard. You know, we keep working and working, keep fighting and fighting, don't give up, and it pays off, man. I just love these guys, love the coaching staff. Hey, man, we're champions again, back-to-back.
Take us through the 4th quarter when they finally made it a 3-point game, got some momentum back. You find Kerry Carter on the left sideline, and you get it back.
Without a doubt, we kept fighting and fighting and fighting. Saskatchewan's an awesome team. We knew it was going to be tight. We played them every time like this, but we came up with enough plays to finish the game off. And, man, our defense played so well today.
When you've done so much of this, people take it for granted. Last week after the Eastern Final, you showed a lot of emotion. Where did that come from, and how much does this mean?
Well, there's a lot of things that are going on with me that people don't know about, but it'll come out soon. I just love what we're doing. I just love football. I love it.
How much are you loving it right now, given what you've done in the last 3 years? And next year, if you stick at this, you could break every record in this league.
You know what, man? We're going to enjoy this victory right now with my family, the fans. We're coming back home again, Montreal. Looking forward to that parade. But, man, I'm going to enjoy it right now.
Congratulations, Anthony.
Thank you. Thank you.
AC with 342 yards in the Grey Cup game and 226 in the second half. Alouettes trailed at the half, but really took charge of this game with the third quarter performance and a long touchdown drive in the third quarter. And Darian Durant's going to mull over that play with about a minute to go for a long, long time.
But it didn't come down to that play, Chris, and these Montreal Alouettes have earned this back-to-back championship title. When you think about a third quarter where that defense stepped up.
They said it couldn't be done. They said we wouldn't repeat. We believed in ourselves and we came again and to the West against a tough opponent, and we did it.
Let's join Sarah Orleski, who's with Ben Cahoon.
We still got some celebrations going on down here right now. Ben, obviously, last year we talked about how it was a monkey off the back for this group. What does this mean?
You know, it's just kind of what we expected. We knew it was going to be a battle. It was kind of a seesaw game, all back and forth, and you know, we had a lot of heart and determination. Came out and played a lot better the second half.
Is this team a dynasty in your mind?
No, I think we have unfinished business. I think, you know, we beat a good team today, but we didn't play good Alouette football. And you know what? We can improve on this.
It wasn't what we've gotten used to seeing from the Alouettes. What was the biggest challenge for this offense?
Well, we just struggle at times, you know, completing passes or moving the ball, and our kicking game struggled, so it shouldn't have been close.
There's been a lot of speculation about whether or not this is going to be your last season. Have you given any thought to it?
Yeah, I've given a lot of thought to it, but we're going to do what we've done for the last 5 years. I've had the last games about 5 times now, so this is no different. We'll decide in the offseason sometime.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Thanks, Sarah.
That's how we do it.
There.
Well, he did say he feels better now that he's felt it in 5 years. We'll wait to find out. A cryptic comment from Anthony Calvillo about his future as we go back to Farhan with S.J. Green.
Well, we got S.J. Green and Jamel Richardson here, and we'll start with S.J. In the first half, when this team didn't have a lot going offensively, they had you. Just talk about what you were able to do to get open and make some plays.
Man, I mean, my teammates trust me, my coaches trust me within the scheme, and just when they caught my number, I made plays. That's all we could do.
Now, you guys had a real chip on your shoulder throughout the week, said the league didn't respect you. How much did that motivate you going into this?
A whole lot. You know, we wanted to come in here and prove the whole world wrong. And, you know, just go ahead and grind it out. And, hey, we did it in their home field again. Again.
Hello. Jamel, in the Grey Cup, you've had back-to-back 100-yard games. What is it about this stage that brings out the best in you?
Hey, you know, when the stars is out, that's when your stars come out. You feel me? Hey, you know, you got to love the lights, you know. You know, whenever your team calls on you, you got to make that play. You don't want to let them down. So that's what happened tonight.
SJ, Anthony Calvillo is going through a lot. We don't know exactly what the details are, but I'm sure you guys do. Talk a bit about your leader and how he was able to help you throughout this one, especially in the second half when the game got close.
Hey, see, as a leader, man, he's a Hall of Famer, and that's what greats do. They lead. And he came in halftime and told us, hey, man, we've been down worse than this before, and knew we had to come out and put on our best show, and that's what. Did the best we could to come out here and get a victory. That's what we did.
Now, I know that you two look alike. You do everything else alike. Your stats are alike. How do you tell each other apart?
8 and 9. That's it. Come on, boy.
Congratulations. And the magic number is 2 back-to-back champions for the Owls, Chris.
And the operative word is again.
Remarkable. And Anthony Calvillo's composure, the veteran leader, the play to Kerry Carter when it looked like the Saskatchewan Roughriders had grabbed momentum. They had made it a 3-point football game, and he stepped up in the pocket, was not rattled, found Kerry Carter as fullback wide open on the sideline. A huge play in this game. Now has 3 championships on his resume.
It's live, hey girls, we're coming home. We'll see you at the party. We'll see you at the party. I'm cold now. I'm cold now.
So the celebration continues at midfield, just awaiting the official presentation of the Grey Cup to the 2010 champions.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to present the winner of the most valuable player. Please welcome the Commissioner of the Canadian Football League, Mark Cohon, who will do the honors.
Mesdames et messieurs, c'est maintenant l'heure de présenter les gagnants des titres de joueurs par excellence et de joueurs canadiens par excellence. Veuillez accueillir le commissaire de la Ligue canadienne de football, M. Mark Cohon, pour les présentations.
Well done.
The winner of the most valuable player of the 98th Grey Cup, from the Montreal Alouettes, receiver Jamel Richardson.
Le gagnant du joueur par excellence du 98e match de la Coupe Grey, Jamel Richardson des Alouettes de Montréal.
Jamel, last year you stepped up to the plate and delivered with over 100-yard performance in the Grey Cup victory. This year, you stepped up and did it again. What is it about these big games where you seem to rise to the top and make plays?
I mean, I love the attention. You know, when the lights come on, that's when your stars come out. And my teammates believe in me, and they can't call my number. I just ain't want to let them down. Hey, God bless, man. I'm blessed right now. Hey, shout out to 315, my girlfriend, Latoria. I love you, my baby. Oh man, bless.
Jamel, all game long it seemed like you had an opportunity possibly with the mismatch on a corner, and you finally had a big one down the sidelines there, and pretty much the biggest play of the football game. And were you begging AC to give it a shot down the field against the number one on the corner?
I think we were saving it for late in the game, you know, for crucial moments like that day when it happened. Hey, you know, when they called my number, I was like, about time. You know, I know Omar can't run with me, he couldn't jump. So, I mean, Ace threw a great ball, and thanks for my teammates, man. We fought hard for this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jamel Richardson, your 2010 MVP.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, joining Commissioner Cohon on stage to present the Grey Cup trophy, please join me in welcoming His Excellency, the Right Honorable David Johnston, Governor General of Canada.
Mesdames et messieurs, pour présenter la Coupe Grey, le commissaire est accompagné sur scène par son Excellence, le très honorable David Johnston, gouverneur général du Canada.
And now, the team captains for the Grey Cup champion Montreal Alouettes.
Veuillez accueillir les capitaines des Alouettes de Montréal, champions de la Coupe Grey.
I'm not team captain, but I'm going up.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Grey Cup.
Et maintenant, mesdames et messieurs, veuillez accueillir la Coupe Grey.
We bring the Wolves here. We go on the road, we travel, we fought hard. Shout out to my teammates, I love them all. We're blessed, baby.
Commissioner Cohan.
Merci. Back-to-back Grey Cups. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Et me fait plaisir de présenter la Coupe Grey to the Montreal Alouettes, the Wetenhall family, and Als fans across the country. Congratulations.
Thanks, Rod.
Happy birthday, Papa. Daddy love you. Somebody drink it. Somebody drink it.
There's veteran Anwar Stewart holding the cup aloft, a team that came here with a chip on their shoulder looking for respect. Clearly will get that. One of the great teams in CFL history, back-to-back titles. First time we've seen that since the mid-90s. The Montreal Alouettes, an explosive offensive team that showed a stout defensive side today.
You know, Ben Cahoon said that he didn't think this was a dynasty, but it certainly is the team of this decade. No one has won more games and been to more championships from the year 2000 to 2010. That's their third title. The Montreal Alouettes have been the best team in this decade.